Hello everybody, happy Sunday. Thank you for being here as always. I appreciate all of you that come here in any capacity every week, just when you're able to, checking back on the replays, all of that. So here we are rolling into the last days of September. 1st of October is what, Tuesday? So we're rolling into the first week of October here. Hopefully you are all having a good weekend. Big focus on the South Node this week. We have the solar eclipse in Libra, so that is a new moon, that is an eclipse it's a new moon that is close enough to the nodes to make it an eclipse. So we have our last solar eclipse in the sign of Libra, as well as some other South Node action going on. So that's what we're going to talk about here today. So let me put the intention up here first. I'm skipping ahead. So for those of you who have not seen the intention yet, here it is. I can handle difficult undertakings. I can handle difficult undertakings. Very empowering, very uplifting, very encouraging, because that may possibly be needed this week. So for those of you who don't know, I always release the intention ahead of time. I've been releasing it on Saturdays since we've been starting doing meditation on Sundays. Playing with the time a little bit to see what works well with that algorithm thing that you have to contend with. So releasing it on Saturday. But if this is the first time you're hearing it, whether it is or not, let's take just a moment to think about that intention and just see what comes up before you have any input from me. I can handle difficult undertakings. I can handle difficult undertakings. Just seeing what that brings up, what it invokes, what feelings, thoughts, reactions within your body, any of the above. Last week, our intention was new adventures await as experiences conclude. New adventures await as experiences conclude. That was last week. So last week we had those tones of things changing. We've had that a little bit here lately with lots of mutable things going on. But we had within the intention last week the idea that things are changing. And now as things are changing, things are shifting, maybe they might be a little bit difficult, but whatever it is, you can handle it. Looking in the comments, hi Melissa. Okay, it's a good one for you, so I'm glad it's resonating. That's good, that's a good start. And let's talk about what's going on this week to go along with that. Okay. So a few things that we have this week, starting out with conjunctions to the South Node. So the Sun has moved over the South Node through the weekend, Saturday into Sunday, so that's today if you're watching the meditation live. At the time that we are doing the meditation, the Sun has moved on to like 8 degrees of Libra, so South Node, or 7 degrees, so like the nodes are sitting at 6 degrees right now, and the Sun has just passed beyond that. So the Sun has come through and made a conjunction to the South Node. Right behind that is Mercury making conjunction to the South Node. So we have this huge focus on the South Node through illumination with the Sun coming to it, lighting up the South Node, and then our mind connecting to the South Node. So the nodes of the moon, we've talked about this several different times, but just to kind of recap, the North Node, if you think of it just very broadly speaking as something new, something you're going towards, maybe something you're pulled towards, that does not connotate either positive or negative, but it's those things that start to pull us towards something, or we feel gravitated towards something, or it feels something new, something exciting, feels like maybe something we should do. Some branches or some astrologers will say that like you should go towards your North Node, and some astrologers will say that you should move away from your South Node. You know, I try to stay away from those should and those very definitive words. So think of the North Node broadly as something that we are moving towards. There has been a pull towards the area of our chart as the North Node eclipses have been going through that area. And then think of the South Node, if the North Node is something that attracts us towards it, and it's something that brings things to us. The South Node is what releases. It's what lets go. So where the South Node is, we find release, we find letting go, we find completions, we find things coming to a culmination and coming to like a point of where they have served their purpose. So there's this focus on release, letting go what has been. The South Node, if the North Node is what we are moving towards and something we have not yet experienced, then the South Node is everything that we have experienced, everything that we have been through, where we come from, everything that has happened. So the past, ancestry, actions that have been taken by us, actions that we have received, things that people have done, you know, actions that have happened towards us. It can be our comfort zone. It can be where we come from as far as things that feel familiar, things that feel comfortable, things that kind of pull us back towards it and maybe possibly inhibit us from moving forward towards the North Node, because the South Node is what we're used to. It can be the comforts of home, it can be the comfort zone, it can be hard to step away from that South Node. It can be those things that kind of pull us back and maybe hinder us possibly, or it could just be that they are things that pull us back because they comfort us. They can be things that pull us back into the past, things that pull us back into things that have already happened within your current life, within your past lives, family, ancestry, past, all of that type of already has been, or where we've come from, what already has been, that's all South Node things. So there's been a focus on that already here at the beginning of the week. And that's as we're coming right into the solar eclipse on the South Node as well. So Sun and Mercury come across the South Node, preluding the solar eclipse that we have. And then by Monday, Mercury is coming into a cazimi. So Mercury sitting just about 1 degree away from the Sun. At the time we're doing this meditation, Mercury is actually sitting right on top of the South Node, like within minutes. So the possibility to release things and let go of things within our mind, within our thoughts and the way we perceive things, letting go of blockages that may stop resources from coming to us, very possible within this time period here, like tonight if you're joining us live, throwing that out there. So Mercury comes into the conjunction with the South Node. It comes into some sort of release. Some sort of letting go of things within the mind. Some things may be possibly coming up from the mind in order to let them go. If there is emotional releases this week, let them happen. That may have already kind of started through the weekend and come through the week. Whatever you need to do to kind of care for yourself this week is not a bad idea. So Mercury comes across the South Node for the last time while the South Node is in the sign of Libra. Also. So there is this letting go and there's this releasing with the mind right before Mercury comes into the cazimi with the Sun, which is its resetting point. It's a changing of cycles for Mercury. Anytime that a planet comes into a conjunction with the Sun, it's a resetting point of the synodic cycle, the cycle with the Sun for that planet. For Mercury, Mercury crosses over the Sun more often than any other planet, so I like to look at it as its phasal change between the morning star and the evening star. So Mercury has been in the morning star phase, say it's youthful, new, initiating, starting phase, and now it's coming into the evening star phase. So maybe the more experienced, that already has been, already has experienced, already has thought about, ready to kind of move on with the plans in a more possibly mature or experienced or some sort of knowledge or tools having way. So like maybe if the morning star Mercury just kind of goes out into ready to experience and start initiating something new, the evening star has a little bit more backing behind it in a way. So powerful moment for Mercury here in the beginning part of this week, where Mercury is going to maybe hit a little bit of a hard spot with the South Node, which is where we're at right now. But it has that ability to release and let go of things if we're not holding on too tightly. And then it comes into this resetting point with the Sun. Very empowering, very releasing, very much letting go. But I also think these letting go and releasing things can also be very difficult because it brings up things that are not necessarily easy. if there's something that we are letting go or moving away from or completing with, there is good value within that, but a lot of times there is something that is undesirable that we are moving away from in some level or some form. So then Mercury comes across, has that resetting point with the sun, moving from the morning star to the evening star. At this time, Mars is coming into a trine with Saturn. So this is something that we have going out through the whole entire week. So as we have lots of interaction going on with the South Node, the things that can kind of pull us back, be a little bit difficult, a point of releasing, a point of letting go of something, which is something that we have been, it's a process of releasing that we have been in for the last year and a half, 2 years, and it's kind of starting to wind down. Mars comes into a trine with Saturn in the sign of Pisces, so these are within water signs. So there is this collective emotionality that comes between these two planets. Often the interactions and the aspects between Mars and Saturn are difficult. They are considered to be the most difficult planets within our solar system, but they're coming together in a trine. So these two planets that often deal with hard things, work, sacrifice, possibly limitations and cutting of things and separating of things. These are like cumulative Mars and Saturn keywords thrown together here. You have the ability to work together to do hard things. You have a very focused Saturn coming into contact with an action-driven Mars. They can both be emotionally or connectively driven, so like connective, like the relationships that we have with people, the connections that we have with people, but they are able to get hard work done when they are coming together. They are serious, they are focused, tunnel vision perhaps. There could be actions happening related to very secure frameworks, structures, the undertones and the underpinnings of our lives or fabrics of different situations, examination of actions, very much a serious focus here coming through with Mars and Saturn coming through in a water trine. So it's like if there's hard things coming up this week, you have the serious players behind your back, the ones that are able to deal with the hard things and the ones that sometimes like to deal with the hard things more than the other planets. Mars is willing to, so one of the main keywords of Mars is severing or cutting, right? So Mars separates. So if there's something that we need to separate ourselves from, we have this help from Mars this week. It's coming into the trine with Saturn. So there's this able to focus on what we need to separate from, what we need to move away from, maybe what we need to move towards at the same time. So it allows us to handle these difficult undertakings and these difficult things that we might possibly encounter this week. And then Wednesday is that solar eclipse, Libra solar eclipse. This is the last solar eclipse. This is the last Libra eclipse that we're going to have within this cycle. So it's going to be 9 years before we have the North Node in the sign of Libra. It's going to be about 18 years before we have the South Node back in the sign of Libra. So it's going to be quite some time before we have this push to release things where Libra is within our lives and within our chart. Through the eclipses, through the exact axis of the eclipses. Not that you won't possibly have some other kind of action going on within Libra or interaction within your own chart that could have some sort of releasing, but directly related to where the eclipses are happening. This is the last push. So we're starting a new lunar cycle with the new moon in the sign of Libra. Solar eclipses are always new moons. So you have this last lunar cycle here to wrap up whatever it is that you've been working on in the sign of Libra, whatever you've been releasing, whatever you've been moving away from. We have this last full push here within the new moon. So you have there's multiple new starts that we have going on this week. We have the eclipse, which is a new moon, so we have this last push to move something forward and initiate within the sign of Libra here as far as eclipses go. Mercury coming into the Cazimi, resetting with the sun, resetting point for our mind, our thoughts, our perceptions, the way we perceive things, the resources and the tools that come towards us. And it's the last time that these planets are going to come across the South Node while they're in the sign of Libra. So the sun coming across the South Node, Mercury coming across the South Node. We just had Venus come across the South Node. We talked about that last week. It's the last push for the sign of Libra here as far as this current energy goes. So I strongly encourage you to, however you can reset, whatever cleansing, clearing, resetting, re-energizing things that you have in place, whether that's like cleaning your house, or if you have, you know, you have tools that you use, like whether they're crystals or containers, candles, other things that you want to leave out to clear under the new moon. I would encourage you to do whatever the thing is that you do. I would encourage you to do those things this week, because we have this, like these, we have these restarting points, but if you have starting points, that means you have ending points. And all of the South Node action could bring up things that are a little bit difficult, or just show us what we should be moving away from. It's illumination. The sun moving across the South Node is illuminating what the South Node has to offer, and the South Node releases it. Lets go. It does not hold on to things. It may release us from the physical world by kind of pulling us back into that comfort zone. So it may kind of pull us into it, rather than, doesn't necessarily hold on tightly to things, but we just kind of like fall back into it. I don't see the North Node specifically as something we should go towards. Like, the North Node is the good part and the South Node is like the bad part. I think that there's a balance in between of moving forward and releasing, handling the truth, moving forward, finding new truths, and letting go of whatever needs to come up. It's a balance of like moving back and forth and finding, sometimes we're a little bit closer to the North Node, sometimes we're a little closer to the South Node. The energy this week is really close to the South Node. So I just want to encourage everybody to care for yourself this week. Know that you can handle any difficult things, and although there's a possibility for difficult things to come up, there's lots of really great points for release this week. There's good help with Mars and Saturn coming together. There is this seriousness, there is this focus, and then by the end of the week, on Friday, Venus is going to trine Saturn. So we have Mars trining Saturn first, then we have Venus trining Saturn. Venus trining Saturn can be balanced to hard things. It can be bringing harmony and cohesion. So maybe if the beginning of the week starts out kind of hard, look forward to Venus trining Saturn. It could, you know, Saturn trining Venus can go either way. Usually the trines are more beneficial rather than difficult and harmful. So there is the possibility of it feeling that it can kind of limit Venus a little bit, but if anything, it feels more like it's going to structurize and put form into what Venus is trying to do. So, you know, Venus in the sign of Scorpio is working on really deep things, and can bring things up from below the surface. So that kind of goes along with the South Node things that we're talking about here. So maybe as Venus is moving through the murky waters of Scorpio and then comes into a water trine with Saturn, lots of water trines too here this week. It actually just misses being a grand trine with Mars, Venus, and Saturn in the water signs. But how can we connect and expand on our emotional depth, our emotional feeling, and those ways that we connect to others, whether that's currently, futuristically, within the past. Those emotional waters hold all of those connections within all the different timelines. But if we're coming across these releases within emotions and within, you know, the South Node is in an air sign, how can we put some sort of form or structure to where Venus can bring balance and harmony to these deep waters. Like, how can we set forward a plan? How can we take some sort of action? How can we move forward in a cohesive and balancing way as things are brought up from the depths here? So it might sound like a lot, but by the end of the week, it could feel like we're in a lot better position than we are at the moment, maybe. Or if you feel like you're in a really good position right now, like you're moving forward and you're letting things go, then by the end of the week, only imagine where you could be. There could be just huge expansion and growth through release. Like, anytime that you have any sort of release, like just think about like within the physical world here, like think about carrying a heavy backpack. So think about like walking down the road with a really heavy backpack on your back, a whole bunch of books or something in it, and then you're walking and you're struggling because it's like pulling on your back, so it's slowing you down, it's hot, whatever, and then you take that backpack off, you set it down, and then you start walking. Like, think about how much easier it is to walk once you set that thing down. Maybe it's difficult to set the thing down because you don't want to leave behind what you have in the bag. Maybe it's important things, but you can move along a little bit better. So maybe that kind of makes sense a little bit. So that's what we have going on this week, and it's quite a bit, but this is why we do this here on Sunday, where we can kind of get ahead of that energy and we know what to expect and we know what to work with. We know that we need to be easy on ourselves this week. We need to know that we need to do the self-care things. Journaling, releasing things would be really, really good this week. Anything that comes up as far as like family related, things like that, just knowing that just knowing that the energies that are going on here and knowing that there is a possibility for things to come up. So just kind of be a little bit prepared, and then maybe that'll help you kind of deal with that a little bit somehow. Yeah. So that's the astrology that we have for this week. I have a few cards. Let me take a look at the comments here really quick first, because I did not look there in a little while. Hi, everybody. Yeah, it sounds like a lot, Melissa, but it's all part of it. It's just all part of it. And this last push here where Libra is within our chart to release something, to let something go, is super powerful. So there is this energy to take advantage of this one last time. So that's why I say do all of your things here. Okay, hey Rob. Okay, so as a Scorpio, does that mean that Venus is working in me particularly? Yeah, so Scorpio Sun, I do not know what placements all you have within the sign of Scorpio, but Venus, whatever degree your Sun is at, Venus is going to come across that here within the next few weeks, because Venus completes its cycle through Scorpio by, I think, October 17th. So, something related to purpose, drive, something related to your solar outward expression, Venus is coming across there. And anytime Venus comes across a planet, there is balance and cohesion and working with something. So yes, working with Venus right now for you is especially a thing with your Sun there. And then if you have any other planets in the sign of Scorpio too, Venus is going to be moving across those as well. Booked a pedicure and a chiropractor appointment. You know what? That's perfect, Melissa. And you did it before you even knew what would be needed this week. So anybody that is able to book self-care things, the pedicures and the chiropractors and the massages, even just taking a few minutes for yourself, totally encourage that. So, okay, so cards for this week here. Let me okay. Might feel a little excessive, but we have 4 cards here. I promise I will try to get through them quickly here. 4 cards because I felt like I needed a follow-up, and then the oracle cards, 2 of them popped out at the same time. So very fitting, the tarot card that first popped out was the 6 of Swords here. 6 of Swords. And I just felt like I needed a little more, which is why I asked for the follow-up, even though, okay, it's not going to show it super great here. I'm trying to focus on my face. Okay, Six of Swords. Six of Swords is moving away from the Five of Swords. And I thought this was very fitting as far as releasing and moving things away from the South Node because so the swords represent the air element. The South Node is in Libra, which is in an air sign right now. And the Six of Swords is about some sort of moving on. It's about moving away from the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords is a turmoil of the mind. It's a struggle of the mind. It's a limitation of the mind. It's feeling like there's some sort of lack or some sort of despair or something that we don't quite have enough of. And the Six of Swords has picked itself up from that and it's moving on. So almost all Six of Swords images picture somebody or something moving away. Mine's a cute little bird animal, like a little egret type thing or something, moving away from something because it's on a boat and it's rowing and paddling away. So the Six of Swords is moving away from the challenge that we have within the Five of Swords. There is hope, there is a healthy outlook, there is resources coming into you that allowed you to pick yourself up from the Five and move forward. So the Six of Swords feels very much like moving forward with the mind here, and moving away from the South Node feels like moving forward with the mind. So the Six of Swords here is telling me that we have the ability and we have the resources to move forward and to release, step away from whatever those things are that we need to release within the sign of Libra right now. It's a very encouraging and very supportive card with some heavy mental things possibly going on this week. And then I just wanted a little more just because I felt like that was so, so spot on. I don't know, I just wanted a little more. So like, what else? What are we moving away from? And what I got was the Fool card, but I got it reversed. So, the reversed Fool card is telling us that we are moving away from a lack of knowledge. We are moving away from something within that, like just stepping into something, which made me think of Mercury coming from the morning star to the evening star. So if the morning star Mercury is more of that youthful, stepping into things, just full force without maybe fully thinking about it and just ready to initiate and start new. The evening star Mercury is a little bit more poised, it's a little more reserved, but it has more experience, more information, more knowledge behind it. So it's like Mercury is no longer the fool, okay? So it's like Mercury, the musician, the magic maker, now has lots of experience within his toolbox and is able to do its things very, very fluidly, very fluently. So the Fool moving away makes me feel like there has been knowledge that has been accumulated, there has been information that has been accumulated, there has been resources that have been accumulated to allow us to be the Six of Swords, to be that which can move away from the challenge and move away from the instability and the change, move away from that being stuck in a rock in a hard place. And then, so when I pulled the Oracle cards after I had the Fool card, it's like, okay, what are we moving towards? Because it's like if we're moving away from being the Fool, if we're moving away from if the Fool card is being pulled away from us, what are we moving towards? And two cards popped up at the exact same time. I hope you see these. These are so beautiful. We have the Earth Mother. She is beautiful and she's grounded with all of her lush greenery, very fertile and very, very fruitful. So Earth Mother, feel loved and comforted. So we're moving towards comfort, moving towards feeling loved, probably moving towards loving and comforting ourselves. So just feeling stable, moving towards feeling very grounded, very secure, and very confident and sure of ourselves is what it feels like. And then what came along with that was the Elder, move beyond ancestral patterns. Move beyond ancestral patterns, which can be pretty fitting for the South Node. So, a last push to release any generational things that we have within the sign of Libra, any conditionings, conscious or subconscious. And a lot of those things come from our ancestral line, whether we realize it or not. So they're passed down traits, they can be passed down genetics, all of that type of stuff. So this 4-card spread here feels very encouraging of being able to step away from the challenge, move forward from the challenge with some information, no longer feeling like you're, you know, the fish out of water that doesn't really have all of the information and all of the things. You now have the ability and the resources to move forward, and you're going to feel loved, comforted, grounded, and you're going to, you're going to move beyond those patterns that, you know, may be kind of deep-seated or not. So it's very encouraging. It could feel like, you know, could feel a little bit like walking through the turmoil, but Venus is in the sign of Scorpio, so Venus is ready to walk through the darkness, and she's going to guide you and hold your hand as you do so. So if there are hard things, know that you have Venus in that water sign that people often try to say it should be Scorpio should be a fire sign. That very like that very passionate water sign, very passionate, driven, and focused water sign of Scorpio. It's going to help you drill down deeply within those things that you are trying to release, trying to move away from. So this week, I can handle difficult undertakings. I can handle difficult undertakings. I'm going to bring the intention back up once more. Sorry, I never got rid of it. We're going to leave it up there once more so you can take another peek at it. I can handle difficult undertakings. I can handle difficult undertakings. Now, chances are, as we've been talking, things when I talk about release, when I talk about letting go, moving away from things, since we've been working with this South Node in Libra energy for quite some time, we're starting to getting towards wrapping it up now. Chances are you have some sort of idea where the release needs to be. It doesn't mean that you have to know where Libra is within your chart. It doesn't even mean you have to know your birth chart whatsoever. But when I say releasing things, letting go of things that have been deep-seated, things that have been bothering you, things that have been holding you back, we all probably have something, if not multiple things, coming to mind that we feel like we should be moving away from, the things that we know that are holding us back. If not, this week, spend some time getting to know those things. Even if it makes you slightly uncomfortable in a healthy way, never pushing yourself beyond any point of whatever the point is, whatever the threshold is for you, of course, never just pushing yourself too far, but a healthy level of examining within the depths and a healthy level of examining what no longer serves you very well, what you should be, what you feel like you should be releasing and moving away from. I would like this meditation to be very grounding, very solidifying, and very much preparing you to allow things to flow, okay? Making a space for flowing, grounding, just very supportive. So with that, just being easy on yourself through meditation as always, and we'll get ready to move on to that portion of this. So I'm going to take a nice deep breath here first, if you don't mind. We have our intentional candle here, white as always, white sage oil candles. White, a color of purity, clarity, amplification. Allowing you to take the intention, allowing you to take what we are working with here and amplify it into your week, as well as spreading it from my physical space into your physical space, into the physical space of everybody else that's participating, and then expanding that beyond if needed. So we're going to light our intentional candle here. I don't have a whole lot on the table today. I have my grandma's bell that is often here. If you are frequent around here, you've seen that before. And you all know that kyanite is my favorite and my go-to. And this piece has just been bringing me such great communication to otherworldly communication that I just, yeah, it feels like a conduit of energy and information to me, and it just has been very, very useful. So I'm going to light the intentional candle, and as I do so, I'm going to recite the intention. I encourage you to do so with me in whatever capacity that you are able to, whether that's out loud in your head, writing it down, or however else works well for you. So, I can handle difficult undertakings. I'm going to light the intentional candle, igniting the flame. The flame ignites, begins to grow. As the flame grows, so does our intention. I can handle difficult undertakings. I can handle difficult undertakings. I can handle difficult undertakings. It may be that difficult things come up for you this week. It may just be that you have some serious work ahead of you and you are not able to be pulled down or held back by anything. But this week, as there is some sort of nose to the grind, as there is some sort of serious focus, as there are new starts, new beginnings, while releasing simultaneously, things are changing, things are shifting. How can you find balance? How can you find stillness? How can you keep yourself grounded and remind yourself that you can handle the difficult things? That is my goal here, is to remind all of you that you can handle the hard and the difficult things. So as we first come into our meditation, find yourself a nice comfortable seat position if you haven't already. Whatever position works well for you. If you're ready to do so, go ahead and close your eyes. If not, just soften your gaze. Let your eyes maybe just gently fall somewhere beyond the tip of your nose, not focusing or staring too intently until they feel that they're ready to close. Being real easy, real gentle on ourselves here today, because that is the tone we want to set for this week. And as we begin our meditation, as always, let's take a moment to check in with the breath, check in with the level of energy that you came here with. Checking in with what is going on within your body at this very moment by just acknowledging your breath and attempting to observe it, acknowledge it without judging, condemning, or making any judgments on your breath. Just observing and acknowledging and making space for the level of energy that you currently have. Perhaps you came here totally relaxed, totally rejuvenated and ready to soar. But perhaps there was difficult things, hard things, work, stressful things, or even just busy things. Perhaps there's some sort of combination that has led you to this moment. Does your breath seem slow and relaxed, or does it seem rushed and hurried? Do your inhales feel full and complete, or do they feel somewhat shallow? Again, not passing any judgment, not changing or modifying anything within ourselves, just acknowledging where we are at this very moment and meeting yourself wherever you are. After we've taken a moment to acknowledge where we are in this moment, we now start to deepen the breath. Here, the goal is for each inhale to be just slightly more efficient than the one before it. Slightly more fulfilling, slightly calmer. And the goal for the exhale is only for each breath and each release of air to be slightly calmer, slightly more relaxed, and releasing slightly more breath and tension than the exhale before it. Starting with the inhale, breathing in, feeling that air entering your body as it starts to make its way towards your lungs. As your lungs begin to expand, so does your abdomen. You notice your navel moves away from your spine. Abdomen distends. And then on the exhale, you release air. Moves up and out of your lungs as they deflate. Abdomen and navel moves back towards a neutral position. Air releases out of your body. As you take your next deep breath in, slowly and steadily, feeling more efficient than the breath before it. And when you're ready, following with the exhale. Continuing the process of breathing in and breathing out. We're going to keep the energy flowing today. Inhales and the exhales continue to feel more satisfying and more efficient, more fulfilling with each breath in and out. Each time you inhale, the energy, the air, and the oxygen from the environment around you, the ethers in the universe, enters within your being. And each time you exhale, each time you release air from your lungs, you are releasing energy, you are releasing part of yourself from within you into the ethers in the universe around you. So this inhale and this exhale that happens within your body 24/7 connects a part of you from within into the universe that surrounds all of us, as well as bringing energy from the universe into your being. It's an exchange and it's a relationship between us and the universe, us and the collective, us and the divine, us and Source, God, as well as whatever other support you believe is out there for yourself. This breath, anytime you connect to this breath, you can connect to your higher self, as well as those universal energies that surround each and every one of us. As you continue the process of breathing in and out, I now want you to picture that energy moving in and out of your body as you continue breathing in and out. So let's meet each other. Let's meet each other at the bottom of the exhale. Start a new round of breath together. We're going to prepare for the inhale. And you're going to breathe in the same manner that you have been breathing in. But as you breathe in, I want you to picture that air coming into your nose or your mouth, however you're bringing that air into your body. Visualize that air coming into your mouth, down your throat, and coming through your front body, all the way down your spine, across all of your internal organs, until it reaches the base of your pelvis. Inhaling that air coming in, feeling that energy coming in your front body, receiving that energy coming towards you. And then as you exhale, I want you to picture the energy starting from the base of your spine, the base of your pelvis, and I want you to picture that energy moving up through the back of your spine, up through your back body, supporting up through your vertebrae, from your lower back, middle back, up towards your shoulders, where it then comes back out your mouth. Inhaling the energy in through your nose or your mouth, preferably your nose. Feeling it fill your front body fully and completely until it reaches the base of your spine. The exhale, the energy continues to circulate, moving up through your back body, releasing out through your mouth. Continuing this process of breathing energy in, visualizing it coming in through your front body, energizing, filling you up fully, and then that which comes up from your base releases through the exhale, up through your spine, and back out. Notice any colors that you see, any sensations, any feelings. This week, as new, fresh energy comes into our body, filling us up, Sun, Mercury coming into conjunction together, moving across the south node. New moon starting in the sign of Libra. New moon. Solar eclipse. Energy filling us up. But that south node, things coming up from the depths, from the base, from the framework within the exhale. Allowing that to come up through the back body and release out effortlessly. Allowing you to be ready to bring in more energy through that next breath in and release. Continue moving energy through that circuit as it comes in, as it moves out, as it comes in, as it moves out. Noticing the circle and the circuit of energy within your being, connecting you to the universe, connecting you to your own body and to your own energies. There is a serious focus this week. There is intention, there is action, there is release. There is expansion, moving away from the hard things, with the tools, with the resources, with the lessons we've learned. Everything that the South Node holds for us, everything that the South Node in Libra holds for us, with the balancing of the scales, where that plays within our lives, has something for us. Everything that we have experienced holds a little treasure to allow us to move forward, mentally and physically. This week, remind yourself of the power and the strength that you have within you to handle any hard undertakings that are coming your way. The difficult things that you have been handling, there is some sense of wrapping up while starting anew and starting fresh. As this solar eclipse comes across this week in the sign of Libra, we have our last push for a new start of releasing to create mental balance, mental cohesion, mental peace, clarity, and a leveling of the mental scales. You can handle the hard things. You have already handled hard and difficult things. And by the end of the week, Venus comes into the trine with Saturn, reaching and expanding within those deep emotional waters of the sign of Scorpio, reaching Saturn in the sign of Pisces. Those collective emotions, how we relate to the other, as well as that collective consciousness. Cohesion within balance of our own emotionality, as well as how that allows us to connect to others. This week, as well as every week, if things get difficult, if there's something hard that weighs you down, come back to your breath. Remember that exchange of air moving in and out of your lungs is more than just the oxygen that powers your body. It's your connection to that energy around us, those universal energies. Remember that anytime you can connect to that breath, even just for a moment, you are able to connect to that higher self and to that higher energy. Thank you all of you that show up here to this meditation, not only to be a part of these collective energies that we are bringing together, but as well as showing up for yourself. Because this week, showing up for yourself, mentally and physically, is very, very important. There is Lots of positive things that can come out of this week, but there is some releasing, there is some letting go, there is some realizing of what has been holding you back on some level. And wherever Libra is within your own chart, wherever you've been working on releasing things, letting go of things, big push here for that. And this last lunar cycle that we have, so this last month of moving forward, and how can you rise from the challenge of where the South Node is? How can you move forward like the Six of Swords and soar full on? You wish you could say it. It won't focus. It wants to just focus on my face, and it doesn't hold it even if I pull it next to it. How can you move forward on the boat and paddling away from the challenge, away from the instability, away from the difficultness? How can you move forward? How can you sail away? That is the message that is coming through for this week, and I appreciate all of you coming here to participate in this. So use this intention for the whole week. Carry it with you some way, somehow, refer back to it, and know that you can handle whatever comes your way, okay? The Libra balances the scales and makes things fair and has a judgment of some kind, but it's all in the matter of balancing and leveling things. Remember that Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus is coming into that trine with Saturn, so even if things feel difficult, even if it feels like there is such a focus on things, just know that it's all in the name of cohesion, balance, harmony, and bringing Venusian things. It just is coming up from the depths through the interactions, through Venus being in the sign of Scorpio, but it's all good. It's all good. It's all part of it. It's all part of life, and it's all part of what we all got going on right now. So thank you for being here. I appreciate all of you as always, and I hope you all have a very great week. Hi to the couple people that are saying hi here. I see a bunch of YouTube comments that are all just along together, but I see a couple people in here saying hi. I see Joshua and I see Rusty saying hi. So thank you all for being here. Thank you those of you that are here all the time, and thank you those that pop in when you were able to. Look next weekend for a new intention, and I will see you here Sunday. Remember to find the Facebook event and click that you're going or interested or whatever to have a reminder show up next week so you remember when our meditation is. And share this meditation and this intention with whoever you think will benefit from it. That's the great thing about doing it on Sunday now, is that it's early enough in the week that other people can catch on to the meditation, catch on to the message here and what's going on, and still be able to utilize it through the whole week because we're doing it right at the beginning of the week rather than Tuesday. I love it. So thank you, all of you. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next Sunday. Yeah, bye now. Reach out at any time if anybody has anything.